Good morning, and welcome to this week's episode of the Met Report. I'm Noah Block.
And I'm Marielle Pulsinelli. It's been a busy week on campus with lots going on, so let's get started. MSU Denver's Homecoming Week is here for students and faculty members to connect with each other. This whole week has been packed with events, with more to happen next week. Our partner, Lechuga, had the opportunity to interview the Assistant Director for Signature Events and Campus Activities in the CMEI department.
MSU Denver has multiple events throughout the year. One major event is Homecoming Week, hosted by CMEI department. I had the honor to talk to Larissa Wortlam, who coordinates events for CMEI, such as Homecoming Week this year.
Well, I'm Larissa Wortlaw. I use she, her pronouns, and I am Assistant Director of Signature Events and Campus Activities in the Center for Multicultural Engagement and Inclusion, and also known as CMEI. This weekend, we have a resource fair that's going to happen on Saturday. There's a few athletic games that are happening. So men and women's soccer, also a volleyball game, and then there's also basketball games that are happening, which are like really good opportunities to connect alumni with current students and current athletes. Academics is hard, right? And so you have to be able to like balance that work in the co-curricular side of things. So the events, the student organizations, the athletic events, the student events that happen on campus. So you definitely want to try to maximize your potential here outside of the classroom, because those are other opportunities to like build communities of belonging, foster a bigger network for yourself, connect with other students, faculty, and staff alike. And then you can just really grow and evolve as a person if you're connected to the institution beyond your academics. You'll have a more affinity with the university. So just try your best to be connected, just because I feel like it would really enhance your college experience if you try to get involved beyond your curricular spaces.
First Generation Initiatives Brother to Brother and Trio came together to host an event on how you can maximize your college experience.
This week, CMEI partnered with other organizations such as First Gen Initiatives, Brother to Brother, and Trio to sponsor the College-ish event here at the Multicultural Lounge at the Tivoli, aimed to create a conversation with students about first-year experiences,
as they've navigated their first year, as well as the couple of years that they've been here at MSU Denver. One of those things is to accomplish some of those tips and tricks students might not necessarily know their first year, and so being able to attend this event, students are able to engage as well as listen to upperclassmen and find loopholes, if you'll say.
The event had refreshments, snacks, and even a scholarship raffle. They also hosted a talk show with a student panel where students attending the event could ask questions and get some answers about the college experience.
This is the first time that we have an event like this, and I think through this event I hope to create community, to allow others to be okay with listening to other people's stories so they are also comfortable with telling their story, because I feel like I was never pushed to tell my story in the way that I do now. So I just hope that someone is inspired, someone is motivated to keep pushing through, and that they are also comfortable sharing their story one day.
The First Generation Initiative team is hoping to sponsor other events such as this one, so make sure you keep an eye out so you don't miss out on these events.
So on October 22nd, we are doing a CASPA-FASPA Assistance Day, and so we invite students and their parents to come fill out the 2023-2024 CASPA or FASPA, and there will be a scholarship raffle also. So if you're interested in getting that done and also putting your name in for a raffle, I would suggest highly coming to the event.
We now go live to Lilibeth for our weekend weather report. Take it away, Lilibeth.
Thank you so much, guys. There has been some beautiful summer days here on our area campus, but with the beginning of the fall season, we are seeing some changes on the weather starting this week. Today will be partly cloudy and cooler with some scattered storms throughout the evening and possibly throughout the day. So if you're on campus, make sure to bring an umbrella ready. Heading into the evening, we're going to see lows down as low as 50 degrees. Heading into the weekend, we are going to continue seeing scattered storms. Might be a great idea to start reading a great book. For next week, we'll be seeing sunny skies on Monday, but those chances of scattered showers will remain until Tuesday. And Wednesday will be clear skies once again. Hopefully not the last we'll see this season. That was it for the Met Report weather. Back to you in the studio.
Coming up next.
Denver libraries shut down after threats.
A new proposal to help Denver's homeless population.
A Black Latina play put on to celebrate Latinx Heritage Month.
All this and more after the break.
Dad?
Being a dad can be transformative, but also a lot of fun. Help prepare your little monster for the outside world. Encourage their interests. Support their growth. Walk them through new relationships.
He's perfect.
Whatever you say.
And prepare them to stand on their own 2 feet.
So much of the good in my life is because of you.
Never stop being a dad.
COVID-19 has been a really long and difficult fight.
It's definitely taken a toll on all of us.
Right now, new variants are a lot more contagious and need to be taken seriously.
Getting vaccinated and staying boosted is the best way to keep you protected from COVID-19 and help you stay out of the hospital.
Even if you got COVID before,
it's important that you go get your COVID booster.
COVID shots are safe.
Much safer than getting the virus.
We can all do our part
and get back to living. You can go to getvaccineanswers.org for more information.
Denver public libraries were briefly closed last week due to an unspecified threat. According to DPD, a threat from out of state came in over the phone to the library the night before Wednesday, the 21st. Police departments saw similarities between this and other threats to libraries across the country. The vague call also mirrored threats to MSU and other Colorado schools, which led to several days-long closures at the beginning of the fall semester. As of last Friday, all Denver libraries have been reopened, and local police departments are providing special attention in the form of daily patrols, though it remains unclear where the threats came from or when they will stop.
2 years ago, 21-year-old Isabella Dallas was killed in a shooting outside Coors Field. It was only just last Thursday that her killer was convicted. We go live now to our reporter, Will Martin, with more on the story.
Thanks, Marielle. I'm outside Coors Field, here not to talk about Rockies baseball, but to talk about a tragic event that happened on June 10, 2020. On that day, 21-year-old Isabella Dallas and her boyfriend were out walking their dog when the dog had to take a bathroom break. Nearby neighbor, Michael Close, took offense to this and decided to deal with it in his own way. Close grabbed a nearby AK-47 that a neighbor had lent him, and he decided to open fire on Dallas, her boyfriend, and their dog. Isabella was hit 24 times as a result, and tragically her life was took. Just recently, though, on Thursday, September 22nd, action was taken as finally a verdict was reached and Close was sentenced. Her family does not take solace in this fact, but finally are able to rest as a long 2.5 years were finally the book was closed. I'm Will Martin with Met Media. Thanks for joining me here at Coors Field.
With homelessness on the rise, Denver has been trying everything possible to help those affected by it. A new initiative has been proposed in the Denver City Council that would create 1,700 affordable homes, rehouse up to 2,500 homeless individuals, and serve more than 8,000 homes with stability programs. When asked about it, Mayor Hancock said, quote, "We must work together to ensure every American has a safe and stable home." According to the Metro Denver Homeless Initiative, Denver has 6,888 homeless people as of 2022, which went up by 784 from the previous year.
Latinx Heritage celebrations continue at MSU this week as we near the end of Hispanic Heritage Month. On Tuesday, a Black Latina play was put on at St. Cayetan's here on Auraria campus.
MSU Denver and CU Denver have collaborated with the Black Latina movement to put on the Black Latina play here on campus. The play aims to tell the story of being a Black Latina in the U.S. and the journey and struggle to identify both cultures.
Well, I'm very privileged to be a part of this project. Of course, this was a larger idea that just came to fruition, and we were able to bring these wonderful, wonderful women here to show the representation that does exist on this campus that's quite honestly often incredibly underrepresented and often ignored or forced into one category or another. So it's beautiful to see this intersectionality on display here.
Written and directed by CEO Cristal Roman, the all-female cast of the play delivers testimonies that work to personify emotions one confronts in the face of adversity.
I've touched women with the story and the words, and the actresses look like them and talk like them, and so they see representation. That's just one of many that we've had, and that is satisfying because it lets you know that you're touching the right people and the people that it matters most to and the people that need to hear it the most.
The play helps all students here on the Aurora campus find their place and remember.
You are here. You do not need to choose. You are who you are, and that is beautiful, and there is no reason as to why you are not enough in yourself.
I'm a first-generation Filipino American. You don't always feel you're a part of the country you live in. It's this weird middle space sometimes that you have to live inside of. But when you meet others that are also living in that space, you'll learn to know that it's its own unique space too.
Okay, here we go.
3, 2,
3, 2, 1.
COVID-19 has been a really long and difficult fight.
So when we start talking about COVID, I completely get it. It's frustrating.
We've all been impacted one way or another.
The fight against COVID is also changing really quickly.
And it's sometimes really hard to keep up.
So here are a few things we know.
We are not fighting the same virus from 2020.
Right now, new variants are a lot more contagious and need to be taken seriously.
Getting vaccinated and staying boosted is the best way to keep you protected from COVID-19 and help you stay out of the hospital.
Even if you got COVID before,
It's important that you go get your COVID booster.
COVID vaccines are safe,
Much safer than getting COVID-19.
We all want this to end sooner than later.
so go ahead and do things.
Go out and live your life, but get vaccinated. Stay boosted.
We can all do our part.
and get back to living. You can go to getvaccineanswers.org for more information.
I'm a first-generation Filipino American. You don't always feel you're a part of the country you live in. It's this weird middle space sometimes that you have to live inside of. But when you meet others that are also living in that space, you'll learn to know that it's its own unique space too.
Okay, here we go.
3, 2,
3, 2, 1.
COVID-19 has been a really long and difficult fight.
So when we start talking about COVID, I completely get it. It's frustrating.
We've all been impacted one way or another.
The fight against COVID is also changing really quickly.
And it's sometimes really hard to keep up.
So here are a few things we know.
We are not fighting the same virus from 2020.
Right now, new variants are a lot more contagious and need to be taken seriously.
Getting vaccinated and staying boosted is the best way to keep you protected from COVID-19 and help you stay out of
Hello everyone, I'm Cecelia Perez-Najera. Welcome to Politics. It's been a busy week, so let's get started. Well, the midterms are coming up, and that means several important political offices in Colorado are up for grabs. To find out how people are feeling, our reporter Noah Block hit the streets and talked to a few MSU Denver students.
Every midterm election is in part defined by the last general election, but especially this one, where Colorado Governor Jared Polis, Senator Michael Bennet, and Secretary of State Jena Griswold all face re-election challenges. Widespread claims of voter fraud were made after the 2020 election by supporters of former President Trump. At least one Colorado election official, Tina Peters, was fired and had charges brought against her for obstructing the right to vote. Now Peters is running for Secretary of State for the whole state. But probably the most important in the state is that of governor. Jared Polis, elected in 2018 as Colorado's first openly gay governor, is up for re-election against Republican candidate Heidi Ganahl, and the ads against the incumbents are everywhere. To get an impression of who and what students are planning to vote for this November, I talked to them directly.
Are you aware of when the midterm elections are this year?
No.
I'm not. No idea. I think November.
I follow Ian Thomas Tafoya, who is a Denver mayoral candidate and a former MSU Denver student.
Oh, wow.
Who was recruited by the government, actually. I think there could be a more fun way of engaging people in elections, and if we're able to do that, I think there could be a better turnout for education, information, change, and engaging in change in whatever way people see fit, I'd say.
I heard something about like a tax raise to help like with school lunches and like high schools and stuff.
From Texas, I came out here. I'm trying to get a car route license. If you don't know the governor of Texas, he's quite an interesting character. A lot of stuff has happened, and as someone who still count as a Texan, I kind of wish to fix this.
I think they were legalizing mushrooms. I think that might be on the ballot. I don't know though. Like just initiatives like in terms of the city working with MSU.
Sure, yeah. Do you think there should be more of those?
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I think we should. I think it's because like we're a really big body of young people, and like we're kind of going to dictate where the future of the city is. So I think it's a good thing to check in on where we all are at.
Election Day 2022 is on November 8th, and early voting starts October 24th. We'll be here to keep you updated until then.
On Wednesday, September 21st, the Federal Reserve announced that they would be raising interest rates to help combat rising inflation. Our reporter Alex Petrich has the story.
We're all feeling the effects of inflation, and the Federal Reserve knows they need to do everything possible to combat it. Raising interest rates 0.75% will lead to higher mortgage rates, higher credit card interest rates, and will have an effect on overall consumer spending. I spoke with Dr. Kishore Kulkarni, a distinguished professor of economics here at MSU, about how these interest rate hikes will affect students here on campus.
Well, I think student population, those who are in borrowing from the bank will be affected because as Federal Reserve raises the interest rate that they charge for the loans that they give to the bank, banks in return charge us higher. So students will be affected in terms of higher interest rate that they will pay for either the student loan or the educational loans or the housing loans. So whatever loans that they borrow, they are going to be more expensive now.
We also discussed what was causing these negative impacts to the economy.
And that uncertainty is a result of 2-3 things. Number one is obviously the war. Russia was exporting 33% of the total crude oil to Europe. And as the crude oil supply by Russia was lowered, there was increase in gasoline price all over the world. The second is what we call the supply chain disruptions. And in general, we have a labor shortage.
And most importantly, I asked what advice he has for students.
Well, I think if I was a student, I would definitely conserve on my spending because that is the way to save for the so-called rainy days, and the rainy days are probably coming. It doesn't look like our inflation is going to go away very soon, as I said, for the reasons I just told you. And there might be a more economic trouble coming up. And I would try to save because I know that saving is going to be needed in my future consumption.
For Met TV, Alex Petrich reporting.
The Biden administration is ruling to codify DACA, scheduled to take effect October 31st. The Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program was initially established in 2012 by the Obama administration. The program was created to temporarily protect young undocumented persons under certain criteria from deportation and provide work eligibility. We spoke to Dr. Preuss, chair of the Political Science Department here at MSU, for further information on how the codification will play out.
years. The codification actually doesn't change anything about that early 2012 rule. Instead, what it does is it codifies it, puts it into the regulatory regime, which then makes it much more difficult to remove. It had just been essentially an executive memo, an executive order. Now it has gone through the whole process, and that makes the legal barriers much higher to actually get rid of DACA. And so in a lot of ways, this helps a great deal. In other ways, it really just kind of keeps the status quo from 2012 in place. And it doesn't really move us forward in terms of immigration reform, and an immigration reform that's really needed in order for us to move forward.
Thank you all for joining me this week on Politics. Get ready for Trenton Sanders with sports right after these messages.
Yo, camping buddy. Okay, you guys ready?
Dude, I thought you were driving.
I thought you were driving.
Oh, I never said I was driving. I definitely can't drive.
If you're high, just don't drive. It's illegal everywhere. If you feel different, you drive different.
All right, let's try this. COVID has been a really long fight, and it's been especially tough on kids.
It's been a rough transition for all of us.
Right now, as a father, I want to give the best tools to protect my kids.
So what can we do?
Hockey fans can rejoice as the Avalanche are back, ready to defend their Stanley Cup title this season. After what seems like a short offseason filled with their players enjoying their time with Lord Stanley, the boys have returned to preseason play.
It's an added layer of protection to keep kids from getting any type of severe illness or complications from a COVID infection.
A lot of parents are also wondering if the vaccines are safe.
Yes, it's safe and effective for children.
Definitely safer than a COVID infection.
Children get a smaller dose than adults do.
So if you have questions or concerns about the vaccine, that's okay.
We're here to help.
We have the tools we need to protect kids and help them.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Met Report Sports. I'm Trenton Sanders. Let's get the ball rolling. The MSU campus has been getting rowdy with the bulk of fall sports underway. Let's see how your favorite teams have done this week. To end last weekend, MSU men's and women's soccer took the pitch on Sunday night. Men's soccer looked to keep their hot streak alive, traveling up to the South Dakota School of Mines. A goal in the 14th minute would spark the Roadrunners to a 2-0 win, moving them to 7-1-2 on the season. Women's soccer was home on Sunday, taking on the number 17th ranked Colorado School of Mines at the Assembly Athletic Complex. Coach Kat Mertz's team came ready to play up to the challenge, going into the half with a 1-0 lead. After back-and-forth goals in the second half, MSU was nearing a 3-2 victory, but Mines had different plans, netting a goal in the 87th minute to make it 3-3. The Roadrunners would tie and move their record to 5-2-3. The hottest team on campus just keeps improving, as the volleyball team is ranked number 2 in the nation and on a 7-match win streak. Along the way, they have only dropped one set out of the 22 total sets in the duration of the win streak. This team is on a roll and prepping to make another long run into the postseason. The biggest weekend for sports is here, with it being homecoming weekend on campus. Men's soccer will play at the Assembly Athletic Complex today at 3 p.m., taking on Colorado Christian, and on Sunday at noon against the Colorado School of Mines. Women's soccer faces off against CSU Pueblo on Sunday at 2:30. The volleyball team will be hosting South Dakota School of Mines tonight at 7 p.m., and on Saturday they host the MSU Denver Hall of Fame game at 3 p.m. against Black Hills State. That'll be your rowdy rundown for the week. Come back next week to see how your favorite sports teams are keeping up. While most schools are getting ready for homecoming festivities around the nation, most schools prepare for a football game at the end of the week. But here at Metro, we do things a little different. The women's soccer team kicked off the homecoming festivities last night, taking on UCCS in a conference game at the AAC. UCCS started out hot as Abby Barhit netted the first goal of the game in the 29th minute. Metro would go on into the half down 1-0. The Roadrunners would come out looking like a whole new team. Hockey fans can rejoice as the Avalanche are back, ready to defend their Stanley Cup title this season. After what seems like a short offseason filled with players enjoying their time with Lord Stanley, the boys have returned to preseason play, getting themselves ready for the season. So far, the Avs are 1-3 with 2 games left, both against the Dallas Stars. Regular season play will start on the 12th of October when the Avs will take on the Chicago Blackhawks at home in a game that will include the raising of our 2022 Stanley Cup banner. Earlier this week, New York Yankees all-star slugger Aaron Judge put his name in the record books with the momentous home run against the Toronto Blue Jays. On Wednesday night, Judge hit his 61st home run of the season. This home run ties an American League record set by former Yankee Roger Maris back in 1961. With just 7 games left in the regular season, Judge will look to break this record. Even if he can't, Judge has already etched his name in history by breaking a 61-year record with his 61st home run. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I've got for sports today. Thank you for joining me.
Dad? Being a dad can be transformative, but also a lot of fun. Help prepare your little monster for the outside world. Encourage their interests. Support their growth. Walk them through new relationships.
He's perfect.
Whatever you say. And prepare them to stand on their own 2 feet. So much of the good in my life is because of you. Never stop being a dad.
COVID-19 has been a really long and difficult fight.
It's definitely taken a toll on all of us.
Right now, new variants are a lot more contagious and need to be taken seriously.
Getting vaccinated and staying boosted is the best way to keep you protected from COVID-19 and help you stay out of the hospital.
Even if you got COVID before,
It's important that you go get your COVID booster.
COVID shots are safe.
Much safer than getting the virus.
We can all do our part
and get back to living. You can go to getvaccineanswers.org for more information.
Well, October's just around the corner, Noah. Got any ideas for a Halloween costume?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go as a cat.
Very fitting.
What about you?
I think I'm going to go for Professor Alfredo Sanchez.
That'll be an interesting costume. Well, that's all we've got for the Met Report today.
Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and mymetmedia.com.
Have a good weekend.